Again, today is a basic discussion of using Xcode to make an app. Again, once you start the project, you'll notice these are all the different things you can make on your app, right? You probably have a phone too, right? You make a simple app, that's a single view app. That's probably 95% of what I do is that. Then you have a game. You play games on your phone before. Then you have augmented reality. Apple's really pushing that now, really pushing that. Of course, Microsoft is way ahead of them on that. Then document-based app. Now, people use Xcode to make the application for the computer too, not just for the phone or not just for the iPad. You use this for that. That's mostly what you would do for that. Metal detail app, master detail app. I don't know what that is. Page-based app. That's sort of the one with the tabs. Oh, there's a tabbed one. These are kind of a way of starting. You can still use single view app, and of course you can see iMessage app. Then you have the the one for your watch as well. See that? TV, Mac OS is your hard drive, and cross-platform. I'm going to use iOS right here, single view. I'm going to say next. It's going to ask you to give it a name. You can give it any name you want. We're doing person. What did I say? Happy or sad person. Yeah. How about that? We call person now. Say next. It's going to ask you where you want to put it. I'm going to put it on the desktop. And it looks kind of complicated, but it really isn't. There's a lot of windows, a lot of stuff. It really isn't. It's very visual.
Are you on Playground?
No, don't do Playground. I did the app.
New project and then iOS.
There you go. That one, yes. That one, say next. 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 Your name. Name. Next. Place to put it. I drew it on the desktop. And create. And that's right. Cool. Okay. You guys say next. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is you'll notice right here it says devices. I tend not to use universal. What universal means is, am I going to make it for iPad as well as iPhone? Very hard to do one that can work both. So I usually, and if you've ever gone to the App Store, a lot of times you just see, hey, download the iPhone version or I download the iPad version. They don't really make it. It's really hard to make. So I turn universal off and I just choose what I want. You can choose whatever you want, but I'm going to choose iPhone. That's it. That's the only thing I'm going to change there. Next thing I'm going to do, so again, right here is where I say iPhone. Next thing I'm going to do is go to the visual interface. To get to the visual interface, this is called Storyboard right here in the upper left corner. Do you see where it says Storyboard right there in the upper left corner? Click on it. There's your view. Okay? So how this program works. This is what it looks like a phone, doesn't it? It is your phone. Okay? And how this works is that there's something called a view controller. You see at the very top the word view controller? That is where there's a program called Swift. And you'll see there's a Swift file over there in the upper left corner. We can put programming in there and then we can do things on our screen. So it's very visual. So again, we have a person, and so we're going to need to add two things to this app. We can change the background color. How about that first? Because white is pretty ugly, right? Make a background color. Then we'll add our picture of the person. Then we'll add what we call a button, and then we'll program the button to change the picture. That's it. You'll learn a little programming, and you can see it's very visual. And you know what? The Android Studio is the same way. It's very visual, very visual. So you learn this, you'll be able to make an Android app pretty easily. The program is a little different, but the concepts are the same. It's an object-oriented programming language. We'll look at some objects in a minute. The first thing we're going to do, let's change the background color. Then we'll put our photo on. Then we'll put a button to change the photo, and we'll be done. Let's change the background color. To do that, we got something called attributes. So I'm going to click in the screen right here, the actual screen. This is, again, very visual. This is your app. This is your phone. And in the upper right corner, if you count over 1, 2, 3, 4 icons, you'll see one that kind of points down. That's called the attributes. That's where you actually change the look of the app here. And if you come down, you see where it says background right here. See where it says background? That's your background color of your app right here. If you click on the word that says custom right there, you click on that custom word, it'll ask you what kind of color you want. There's some pre-made colors up here, but if you you just click on the word custom again, it'll bring up the color wheel. And of course, how many colors in this color wheel? Well, we learned it today. It's 24-bit. How many colors? 16 million different colors in this wheel right here. Now, of course, your eye can't see 16 million different colors, but 16 million colors in that wheel right there. So let's choose a color right there. When you're done, you can just close. There's a little X in the upper corner when you're done. I'm going to do a little, oh, let me put some color in there you can see. There we go. How about we do, yeah, we'll go something like that. Okay. I don't know. That's all I wanted to do as far as change the color, make it a little interesting. Okay, let's put our picture on. To put a picture on, we're going to use image. What are you looking for? Color?
I'm still looking at it.
Okay, you got to go to attributes. Is that one? There you go. And then click, oh yeah, the background color, that's it. Choose custom and the color wheel will show up. Choose one of these colors and that's it. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to put an image on our screen. Now, to put an image on your screen, we got Brad Pitt or we have Leonard Cohen. Okay. But I have to put a box to put my image in, so that box is called an image view. To put things on your screen, you'll see there's a little circle with a square in the upper right corner. Some of you have the old version. I'll show you in a minute. You got the new version too. Okay, so to get to the image view, to put the image on the screen, you'll see look at my screen up here in the upper right corner. You see there's like a little circle. It's called the library. Do you see it up there? I'm going to click on that, and the one we're looking for is image view, and just take the image view and drag it out. Then for the image view, what I want you to do is drag it onto the screen and scale it kind of big in the middle, however big you want your picture to be. It's called image view. Again, to get to the image view is up here in the upper corner. Image view. Drag this out and scale it. And then one other thing you need to drag out, you need to drag some text out, and that's going to be a button. Type in button, B-U-T-T-O-N. Drag a button out, and I'm going to take a button and put it at the very top of the screen up here. In that button, I'm going to say, when I am sad. Sad, how do you spell sad? S-A-D? Sad. Because remember, I'm going to put Brad Pitt first, so I'm happy. So when you click up there, it's going to change to Leonard Cohen, and the text is going to change when I'm happy. And I'm going to click on the text that says when I'm happy, and I'll put Brad Pitt there. Does that make sense? You want to start with I am sad. Okay, watch up at the screen and then try. Here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my window around. First, I'm going to click on the word that says assets. See in the upper left corner right here where it says assets up here? Upper left corner. I'm going to click on assets. And I'm going to move my window around. And I'm going to find my pictures. I'm going to find, here's one picture. And then let's find another picture. What's the other picture? Where's my other one? Brad Pitt. Don't I have Brad Pitt on here? I didn't spell it. You got to make sure it has an extension. What was Brad Pitt? Was that a JPEG thing? No, that didn't work. I got to go find another Brad Pitt. But drag your pictures into this window that says assets right here in the white area. You got to drag it in this white area right here. Let me go find Brad Pitt again. Which one did I have? That picture was no good or what? There we go. Wikipedia. There's a Brad Pitt. It says JPEG. Okay. Let me change the name. It's easier because you have to program with the name too, so make sure you know the name of your file. Make it simple. So again, you need to take your picture and put it in this window. Oh, for some reason Brad Pitt doesn't work here either. Okay, I can't download no Brad Pitts. Hmm. Why is none of my pictures working? I guess Xcode doesn't like Brad Pitt. Let me try this one. Well, this one looks like it might work. Okay, now I have two pictures. So again, try and get it into this white area right here. Again, I clicked on assets right here. See where it says assets right here? And then I have Brad Pitt and I have Leonard. Okay, do you have two pictures? You gotta drag them in this window, this white area right here. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is put Brad Pitt on the screen. How I put Brad Pitt on the screen is I go back to the main storyboard right here, main storyboard. And I click on the box. I click on the box right here, the box, the image view. And in the upper corner, do you see where it says image over here? Again, I'm under attributes right here. Attributes, main box, attributes. I'm going to choose Brad Pitt. There he is. Putting the picture in? Do you have the picture in assets over here? Okay. Go to main storyboard, click on the box for the picture, and then in attributes up here, in attributes here, there's an image box, and choose, you should have both of them in there, choose one of them. Okay, so again, it's up here under attributes, you should be able to choose a picture. Okay, you ready? Now we got to do two more things before we can start programming. One of them is we need to add some alignment, right? What if this is on an iPhone 6 compared to an iPhone 10 compared to an iPhone whatever? We need to add some alignment to the picture. Uh-huh.
Do I need to get a new picture because mine doesn't fit? I just changed the content mode.
Okay, so we need to give it some attributes to, yeah?
Go to the main storyboard. And then click on your image thing, which is what you clicked on. I mean, like your actual iPhone thing. And then click that, like so it's highlighted. And then you click the little down arrow and then you go see that top one that says image. Click the box.
Name, all that stuff, and save. You're many steps behind. But let's get to, come on, let's hurry up. We're gonna run out of time. First thing we need to do is give it some size. Here we go. Let's just cheat. Cheating is good. Okay? And what I mean by that is we're going to let the program make the alignment for us so that we don't have to, because I could go through the whole theory of alignment with you and we could spend a lot of time and it'd take me 20 minutes. So let's just have the, so the first thing I'm going to do is grab the text. I usually start from top down. When I'm aligning things, I start from top down. First thing I'm going to grab is I am sad. There's a little triangle in the lower left, or well, let me make my window a little higher here. See this one in the lower right corner here? So I grab my text, go to, it looks like a triangle with two lines on the outside. And I'm going to say reset to suggested constraints. Reset to suggested. And same with the picture. Click there and say reset to suggested constraints. There you go. Again, it looks like a triangle down there. So select each piece. I usually start from the start down. Grab the text, click here, reset to suggested constraints. Grab the picture, reset. So what this does is it aligns it to the app. You should see some blue lines that's all around it, right? Okay, let's get to programming. So we have all our pieces. It's reset to suggested constraints. Okay, now the last thing you have to do, we're almost done, is type in the programming. So to do the programming, we need to tell the app that we're going to use an outlet. And then we have two things. We have an outlet. An outlet is something that's changing. What's changing? The text is changing, right? And the picture is changing. So we have to make two outlets. Then we need to add an action. An action is because we're going to click on the button or tap it with our finger or click it with our mouse. So we need three things to do. Two outlets, two things that are changing, and one that's doing an action. So three things we need to add. And then we do some programming. So let's do that. Now this is a little tricky. Watch, and we'll get it to work. Watch. To do that, and let me show you the example first, and then you can see. It's nice to see the example. Let's look at the example. Okay, here they are. Here's the programming right here. It looks complicated, but we're not doing all this stuff. We're just doing very simple things. So again, there are three things we need. Again, you need a variable. What is a variable? Well, we're going to be doing something, right? We need to change something, so we have to store some data. Okay, what do we need to store? Well, we need to know if the picture has changed or not has changed. So we need something to store the data, and we call that a variable. So you'll notice the first one here says variable light on equals true. Okay, so then you have two outlets, like I told you. Then we have an action. Then we turn the light on, which means it's starting with Brad Pitt. Think about it that way. What the exclamation point mean? It means it doesn't have to have a value at first, but it has to have a value. And then you'll see there's an update UI right here. This is a way of storing that refreshes the screen, right? Because when the person taps the button, we want it to change. That's what the update UI is here. Then we build something called a function which updates the UI. If the light is on, we change to Brad Pitt. If the light is off, we change to there. You don't have to do all this. This is to change the font color and stuff. You just need this line. It's the only line in here. It looks complicated, but it's not. We could do this in 5 minutes. And then we just need that line, and that's it. So you ready? Here we go. First thing we need to do is bring up the programming and the interface at the same time. I like to call it the Olympics. And you'll notice in the upper corner you see these two rings right here. Do you see the two rings up there in the upper right corner? Click on the two rings. Okay, and then I'm going to make this a little smaller because you have a little bit more space than me. So you probably have something that looks like that, right? You got your programming on the one side, and you have your stuff on the other side, right? Did you see that? Okay. First thing we're going to do is we want to put our variable up there. We're just going to make it can be any word. We just use the light on because that was the name of the assignment we were doing. Then you'll notice right here, you'll see some import UI kit. Let's just read some of the code briefly so you understand. What import UI kit means is that it's importing the resources for the image. Remember when we dragged that image onto the screen, right? It needs to be able to access that. Then we drag the button on the top too. You remember that? That's a UI element. So when in the program it says import UI kit, it means, hey, you can take advantage of these pre-made things. This is why it's called object-oriented programming, is that there's pre-made objects for you. And you just drag those objects, give them a name, and have them do something. That's what object-oriented programming is. You have objects, a lot of them are pre-made, like this, and so on. And then you just change them according to what you want to do. That's what we're doing. We're going to change them. Next one is a class. What is a class? Well, we're defining something called the UI, the viewer controller, which is this box. That's the name of this box. And what is this box? Well, it's part of, notice some are blue over there and some are black. The blue ones are pre-made. They're built into the program. The black ones are made up. In fact, you can call that view controller something else if you had to, but don't change it now. Okay? So these, I know this one is black too, but it's just a term. So just keep in mind, it's kind of an object-oriented programming. It's kind of simple. So the first thing I want you to do is we're going to make a variable here at the top. So right underneath where it says UI view controller, you'll notice this one says Actually, he made it underneath there. Yeah, we're underneath there. So we're going to make a variable light on true. So let's just follow the example. Variable light on with a capital O equals true. So right underneath here, right underneath this line here, type in VAR space LIGHT capital ON equals true. So type that in. Anybody got that? Okay. So next, we need to make the outlets. How do we make the outlets? We drag them. So the first one I'm going to do is, let's do the picture. To make an outlet, you hold down the control. So you have to use two hands. Watch, I'm doing two hands here. One with the mouse, one with the key on the keyboard. I'm going to hold down the control key. I'm going to grab Brad Pitt. I'm going to hold the control key down, put my cursor over Brad Pitt, and I'm going to drag over here to the window. Notice how it has like this little blue, make sure it's below the variable. I'm going to let my finger up off the mouse. It's going to ask me what? I want an outlet. Give the outlet a name. In the example below, they called it BG image, so I'm going to call it BG image. Like that, BG image. And leave the rest alone and hit connect. You want me to do that again? I'll show you again. Oh, actually, it causes problems if you try and undo. Oh, I can't really this program doesn't undo very well. So again, it's to hold you grab, and you have to do the same thing with the text if you want the text to change. Again, hold down the control key, grab the text, drag it in below there, release your mouse with your finger. Again, it's an outlet, and this one's going to be called light button, LIGHT, capital BUTTON, light button, and hit connect. So I have two outlets, and then what other thing did I say you had to make? An action. So we need to change if you want to change, you need to give this a button. I'm going to hold down the control key. I'm going to click and drag in here. I'm going to release the mouse, and I'm going to call it an action. And that action, what did they call it in this example down below? How about we just call it change text, like that. And type any. I don't know. Hopefully any is okay. Let me see. No, it needs to be a UI button. Let me do that again. Oh shit! This is causing problems already. All right, I can't do that. Hold on. Oh, I made too many mistakes. Hold on, one more time. I'm going to grab this, drag it here, and we're going to make it an action. And instead of any, we call it a UI button. What did I say? Change text. Here we go. Okay, let me pause. Okay, so if you look at what I have as far as programming wise, I have an outlet. If I roll over, you see this one is an action. It tells me when I click on there, it does something. In addition, it also changes when I click on it because I wanted to say I'm happy, right? And then this one says is the name of Brad Pitt, right? So you see I have three. Notice how I roll over, it tells you what's on your screen. See how these are connected? Okay, the last thing to do is you need to make an if statement. If statements are very popular in programming, right? We need to say, hey, if this is this, then change it to that. Or if this is that, then change it to this. Again, let's look at the if statement down here. So we need to make a, underneath this button, when the person presses the button, you need to make sure that the light on, that variable, actually can have a value. That's what the explanation point is. And then there's an update UI right here, and then we'll make a function called update UI here, which will do the else stuff. Okay, so to do that, we need to go and change it.
Did
Okay,
you type in the light on thing below?
it's a variable right here, right?
The one below that's blue and 18.
This one?
Did you type that in? 'Cause
Not yet. I'm going to.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna do that right now.
Oh, duh. Just really.
Okay, so inside these brackets right here where we change, so this is an action, right? This action is to change the text. Do you see it right here? So inside the curly brackets, I'm going to click after that, is where we're going to do the light on. So we're going to type in light on equals exclamation point, light on. All that's doing is saying, hey, it can have a value. Hit return. The next thing you're going to do is we're going to make something called update UI. This is a made-up term. This is just a, but by calling it update UI means it refreshes the screen. So we're going to type in update UI, and then we go round bracket, and that's it. Now it doesn't know what update UI is. Don't worry about it. It's just giving you a message that says, hey, I don't know what update UI is. You see the error message. Don't worry about it because we're going to make the update UI. I'm going to make the update UI right after this closing bracket right here. I'm going to make it. It's going to be a function. So we type in func for func. And then, of course, give it the name that you're making. You're going to call it update UI, just like that, update UI. Then you're going to make some curly bracket or some brackets like this. And now we need to give it some things in there. What is the arguments we need to give it? Well, the first argument is going to be if the light is on, Brad Pitt should be there. If the light is on, Brad Pitt should be there. So we type in if light is on, then what? Then what? Well, then we need another curly bracket. Then what? Then we're going to say the background image is going to be here. I'm going to copy this line here. Hold on, I'll explain it in a minute. So if the light is on, then the background image, or this image right here, remember this is the name of it right here. See, it's called BG right here. See, BG image. So this needs to be the same image to here. BG image, BG image. And it is an image, and BG image there. So basically this is saying the BG image, which is Brad Pitt right now, dot image equals the name on JPEG. Now on JPEG is wrong. What do you think on JPEG should be? The name of the file. So I need to find out what the name of the file is over. Remember when we made the assets over here? So I have one called brad-pitt.jpg. So I have to give it that name right there. So again, it's going to be brad-pitt like that, JPEG. So again, if the light is on, then Brad Pitt JPEG. And then, of course, we should have an else. I'll explain it a little bit more. Let me finish typing it in. Else, we're going to change it to Leonard Cohen. So then I have an else in there. Else. The same line, but this time, and I'll explain it in a minute, it's going to be the other name that we had here, L-E-O-N. L-E-O-N? Yeah, L-E-O-N. 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 Oh, not this one. This one. Hold on. L-E-O-N. And that's it. Why am I getting an error? Let me see what I'm doing wrong. Hold on one second. Maybe I need a closing. So this one goes with that one. This one goes with that one. This one goes with that one. DUI. Round bracket. Oh, am I missing the round brackets? Yes, I am. I need to go put round brackets here. Okay. So let me just test it and see if it works, and then I'll explain it a little further. So don't just hang out for just 1 second. Let's just make sure Brad Pitt changes. So I'm gonna make sure. Okay. Look at that. Okay, so it does simple change there. The text doesn't change. I'll show you how to change that in a minute. Okay, so let's review the code. Now, if the code goes kind of jumpy like that, the easiest way to go back is to choose the little folder in the upper left corner, then choose the main storyboard, and then your code should go back to here. If your code doesn't go back to this, you can go back to that there. So let's look at the code again and read it again. So the first thing we put in here was a variable called light on. We made it true, which means that it can have a value. When you say something is true, you're saying, hey, I'm going to use this. It's either on or off, right? Computers it's like ones and zeros, right? That's what true means. It's either on or off, right? Hey, we're going to tell light on to do something. That's what do you want it to do? Well, light on can have a value. And basically what this line is doing is saying it can have a value, it just doesn't have one yet. One of the problems with the programming language is that if you have something that doesn't have a value, it gets mad. You can't have something just floating around without having any value to it. So that's all this line does is it just says, hey, you can have some value. Don't worry. There will be value there eventually. This must have a value. What the explanation is kind of a must. This one must have a value. And it does have a value here. Then the update UI basically is a function. What is a function? Well, it's a group of code that does something. So when the person pushes, so read this right here. It says IB action function change text. What change text means is when I click on here, I'm changing the picture and the text. I just use the word change text. You're basically clicking here, it's changing the text and the picture. We haven't changed the text yet. What's it going to do? Well, it's going to send a message. What is that message? To the UI button to update UI. What is update UI? Change the picture here. So here the update UI says if the light is on, Brad Pitt is there. If the light is off, then Leonard Cohen is there. So that's all this is doing. So again, you need to write function func space update UI. Or this could be any term right here. It doesn't need to be called update UI. This is just a made-up word. Then the round bracket just says, hey, I'm going to have some data in here. What is the data I'm going to have in there? I'm going to have a curly bracket, which is an if statement. If the light is on, again, where does this word come from? Well, it comes from the variable that's up here. If the value is on, then change the image. Where does this BG image come from? Well, that's the name of the box we put out there. Remember we dragged this box out here? When we made an outlet here, I called it this name. So this word right here is this word right here. Then the word image just means that's built into the program. Says, hey, change the image. Image to what? Okay, what is the name? Well, that's the name that I gave it over here in the asset window. See the assets here? See the assets? So it's this name. And this name, whatever these names are. Make sure you put .jpeg in there if you're using JPEG. So then that's what that does, okay? And then else, okay, if I click on it and you want opposite, which would be not true, would be a different one, then it's going to be Leonard Cohen. It's the same line of code with Leonard Cohen in there. Now the last thing we need to do is change the text. If you want the text to change from I am happy or I am sad, right? So this one is I am sad up here, Brad Pitt. So inside this bracket right here, we need to write some code here. That's going to be the name, the text, okay? And that text is called title, set title. See this one right here? Title. So again, the title is not light on, it's going to be this title, change text. So this is actually CHA change text. And if the word's not off, it's going to be when I am sad. Okay, and then again, we have the same thing here. This is when I am happy. Happy? Like that. And why does it give me an error message here? UI button has no member title. Set title? No. Of course it does. What's wrong with set title? Oh. What's wrong with set title? We want to change the text. Oh, is this a label? No, it's not a label. Did I call it set title? Okay, well, let's not worry about the text changing. How about that? See if we can get the image to change. Anybody get the image to change? Anybody? One person got the image to change. You gave up?
Because of this, I couldn't drag this.
Okay, hold on. Let me show you how to preview it. Hold on. So to preview it, you kick this little arrow in the upper corner right here. Click on it. And hold on. And you'll notice, again, the simulator is a full working phone. You should be able to click on that and changes the people. Okay. So I'll come and see what you've done.
It starts from here, and then I couldn't drag the image. I don't know how did you drag that.
What do you want to do? I'm sorry.
So I wrote this down, but I'm not sure what to do next.
I got lost.
You don't have no outlets. You need, well, that's a mess. Hold on, let me stop my video. Hold on 1 second.